Want to know the truth about rent-to-own options? If so, keep watching. Hey guys, it's Rain Yuri, better known as Rainy, yes, like a rainy day, and I'm a realtor proudly serving the Tampa Bay and surrounding areas. As a realtor, my goal is to find and share different options for my clients and YouTube family on ways to help them along their real estate journey. So I partner with several different rent-to-own organizations to have a variety of options in the event that that's the route that you would like to go. And like you, I've seen the negative and the positive reviews, but today I'm going to share with you the truth about the rent-to-own programs regarding their process so that you can determine if it is the right fit for you. One of the biggest mistakes that I see potential rent-to-own clients make is that they do not fully understand that rent-to-own process, including what happens if you decide that you do not want to purchase the home. Another mistake that I see clients is that they assume the rent-to-own process will be like a traditional rental. Now, from my experience, although there are some similarities, there are also a lot of differences. So you want to make sure that you understand that particular company's process. So in this video, we are going to talk about the general process of rent-to-own. However, let me know in the comment if there's a particular company or if you want more company specific videos, and I will definitely make sure I get those out for you. Now, let's dive into the rent-to-own approval process. A quick reminder that each organization will be different, so make sure that you're doing your due diligence when determining which one is right for you. First up, choosing a home. The companies that I partner with all allow you as the renter to choose which home that you ultimately would like to buy. There may be some restrictions though, like no condos, no properties older than XYZ, may not need to be in a specific area, and or they may not accept manufactured homes. Those are just a few. But you do get to go house hunting for the home that works best for you. Next up is that credit score. The rent-to-own organizations will look at your credit score and your credit report. Most of the time, they're going to pull a soft inquiry, which means it will not affect your credit score, but sometimes they may need to pull a hard inquiry report, and that will affect your credit score by up to maybe 10 points. Now, while reviewing your credit report, they're going to be looking for things like bankruptcy, foreclosures, and or evictions. But if you have those, don't worry, because there are some companies that will accept those, while other companies, they will not. So keep that in mind. As of this video, I have partnered with a rent-to-own company that will take a minimum of a 500 credit score. Now, don't get too excited, okay? However, you will really need to make sure that you are focusing on improving your credit score if your goal is to become a homeowner. Now, we have several different options to assist you with credit repair, ranging from you doing it yourself without guidance or us doing it for you. But whichever route you take, whatever you decide to do, just make sure you're actively working on improving your credit report, your credit score. We've also partnered with a company that will report your rent, even going back 24 months prior, to all 3 credit bureaus. So that is very huge. So if you need that, definitely check into that description. And did you know that there are ways that you can build positive credit starting right now without a credit card? You know what to do. Check that description so you can get started today. Next up, let's talk about the documentation that you're needed, okay? The documentation that you will need for the rent-to-own is pretty much going to be the same that you're going to need for when you get pre-approved for your home loan. That's going to include a copy of your driver's license, as well as the driver's license of the other person if you have someone applying with you. They're going to want copies of the bank statements, all pages, even those blank pages as well too, for the last 3 months. They're going to want to have 2 years of your W-2 tax returns and the last 30 days of your check stubs. Now, although this next thing is not a physical document, they will still review your debt to income, or your DTI as we call it. And they're just looking to see what is your percentage of your debt to your income that you're bringing in, to see if you'll actually be able to afford the home. Now, you know I have you covered, so check that description because I do have a video that shares into a little bit more detail about that debt to income, as well as in that video, there's a calculator that you can determine what yours is. Another thing that many people have a misunderstanding about is how much money or what money is needed for the rent to own program. Depending on the company that you use, you may need 2% of the purchase price for the down payment. So let's say the home is $325,000. At 2%, that's $6,500. Or they may want 2 times the monthly rent for the security deposit. I personally had a client that ended up having to come out of pocket almost $13,000, y'all. And that was for the down payment, the first month rent, and the prorated rent, which was not clearly explained to either of us during this process. So again, make sure you have them to fully explain how much you need before you sign anything. Because had my client decided not to move forward, he would have lost his 2% down payment, you guys. Now, let's talk about the maintenance and upkeep of your rent to own. The homeowner is usually responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of their property, right? But when it comes to the rent to own, it will depend on the company as far as who's going to be responsible for what. So make sure you have a clear understanding before finalizing that transaction as to if you'll be responsible for the appliances if anything breaks down. So again, make sure you understand what you will be responsible for. The monthly payments. Rent to own rates may vary company to company due to if they are including a percentage to assist you with your down payment. So for instance, some rent to own companies may have a 10 or 25% increase on the market rent in order to be able to assist you with your down payment for when you are ready to purchase a home. This is usually held in what we call an escrow account. And again, once you're ready to purchase the home, that money can be used towards your down payment. Some companies will also have rent increases year after year, so take that into consideration as well. I will tell you, these rent to own companies are usually very strict when it comes to missing a payment. There is usually no type of notice or anything like that. If you miss one payment, you may be at risk of losing the property as well as forfeiting the funds in that escrow account that we talked about. In addition, one late payment on not just your rent, but on anything can actually drop your score by up to 110 points. So make sure you stay on top of your payments. To purchase or not to purchase? That is the question, right? So if you decide you want to purchase the home, expect to pay more than what the purchase price was when you started the rental. Many companies, they're going to give you an idea of what you can expect to pay if you decide to purchase, let's say in year 1, year 2, or year 3 plus. Also, with the traditional purchase, there's what we call an appraisal that determines the value of the home. So make sure you read your agreement before signing to see how they handle appraisals and that home values. Because depending on your market, that rate may change. And so again, you want to make sure that you are paying market value for that home. If you don't decide to purchase the home, how much notice will you need to give them? Will you be able to get your money back minus those administration fees? So make sure you are understanding that before you sign that dotted line. Again, each company is different, so make sure you understand that that process all together, okay? And finally, when in a rent-to-own program, make sure that you are actively working on being prepared to purchase a home loan, okay? Because many of these rent-to-own programs, they usually only last 3 to 5 years, so you want to be ready when that time comes. But of course, I have you covered that. I explained the whole home buying process, so make sure you check it out. If you have any questions about this rent-to-own process, definitely drop in the comment section, as well as feel free to check out the description box for a free downloadable list on the different rent-to-own companies that I'm connected to. And then, of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate you because this will allow me to put out more videos. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get your real estate journey started.